Hi everybody, welcome back to Clues by Sam. It is Saturday, April 18th, and we are playing another hard one. Really excited for this. I hope it's gonna be actually hard. I don't want to jinx myself or be mean to Sam. I think I don't I don't have the slightest clue as how to categorize these as easy, hard, medium, etc. I don't think I could do that. So oftentimes it's also the influence of our day and how it went, how we're feeling, stuff that's happening in our life. Not only the puzzle being hard or not is what makes us perceive it as hard or not. So it doesn't really matter. What matters is that we have fun doing it. And if you're new here and you don't know what Clues by Sam is, it is a daily logic puzzle game we play every day here on the channel, and in it there are 20 people. Each of them might give you a clue to help you figure out who among them are criminals and who among them are innocents. And yeah, if you want to play along, there is a link in the description to take you to it. I'm going to start mine right now and explain my logic as I go if you need any help. So let's see how this goes. We start with Lisa telling us that only one of the two criminals neighboring Aaron is above Will. So there's two people above Will who neighbor Aaron, and only one of them is a criminal. And Aaron himself has 3 criminals total. 3 criminals? 3 neighbors total. So the second one needs to be the third, Helen. Talking about criminals. Helen now says that column B is the only column with exactly 1 innocent. And we know that that innocent is here neighboring Aaron. So we know that nobody else in that column is an innocent. Now we have 3 new clues. Oh, let's leave Helen's clue because it reminds us that only one column has 1 innocent. Now Mark says there's an odd number of criminals to the right of Aaron. So there's 3 people to the right of Aaron. It's either all 3 of them are criminals or just one of them to make odd numbers. Steve says that there are exactly 2 innocents in row 1. So we know now that there's only 1 criminal here to the right of Aaron, because if 2 people were to be criminals here, since there's 4 people total in the row and 2 of them are innocents, that means that 2 of them are criminals, and that would be an even number of criminals to the right of Aaron again. Where are the even clues? I'm starting I'm starting to lose. So that makes Aaron the second criminal because there's only 1 to his right. Will now says there's an odd number of criminals neighboring Tina. Okay, there's 3 people neighboring Tina. We don't know about the other 5. Let's look at Aaron's clue. Only one of the 3 criminals neighboring Eric is above Zara, so Eric has 2 people above Zara neighboring him. Only one of them is a criminal. And now Eric has 2 criminals, 1 in column D, 1 in column B, so the third one has to be the only neighbor he has left. That's Jane. We don't need Aaron's clue anymore. Jane now says that exactly 2 of Nick's 6 criminal neighbors also neighbor Zara. So Nick and Zara share 2 people as neighbors, right? 2 of them are criminals, so both Tina and Uma are criminals. Today we have a surprise for you. Is it a good surprise? I'm worried now. I'm tense. But it isn't my birthday. But we know also now that Nick has 6 criminal neighbors total. So 2 innocent neighbors, because Nick has 8 neighbors total. And we also know that column D has to have at least a second innocent here. Below Kyle. Yeah. Because that column couldn't be left with only 1 innocent who's either Floyd or Kyle. Now, there's an odd number of criminals neighboring Tina. So Tina so far has 4 criminals neighboring her, so she needs at least 1 more. But we don't know if that's in column D yet. Let's think about Nick. Could both Ivan and Kyle be innocents and then make Olivia a criminal, and that's Nick's 2? Oh no, they couldn't. Because that will make Floyd and Betsy criminals, and now there's more criminals in row 1 than we know there should be, because Steve says there's only 2 criminals in row 1. So we know that these guys are opposites. Why are they opposites? They couldn't both be criminals, right? If both of them are criminals, yes, there will be 2 innocents in column B, which there can be and there should be. But then there's no way for Nick to have 2 innocents, which he needs neighboring him. So we know that these guys are opposites, right? Ivan and Kyle. Now, these being opposites puts an innocent and a criminal here in column B. In row 1. Oh, the tags. Me with tags again. The tags can't see me coming. Now we have 1 innocent and 1 criminal here in column B. In row 1, right? That is gonna be the second criminal for that row, and we need 1 more innocent. That has to be Eric. Now, Eric doesn't give us no clue. Oh, but we know that Nick needs a second innocent as well, so Olivia has to be the second innocent, and we get a new clue. Olivia now says that exactly 2 of the 8 criminals on the edges are Eric's neighbors. So Eric has 3 people on the edges neighboring him. One of them is gonna be a criminal for sure in row 1. That's either Betsy or Floyd. The other one is for sure gonna be an innocent, so we know that to have 2 criminals, the third person has to be a criminal as well. That's Kyle. And Kyle being a criminal makes Ivan an innocent, and Floyd an innocent, and Betsy a criminal. So, no new clues. Okay. That's fine. What do I do now? Because we know that column C needs at least a second innocent, as does column A. We don't need J in school anymore. Column D has 2 innocents already, so that doesn't really matter for us. But Tina still needs 1 more criminal at least. So we gotta put all of that together. Let's think about column C. Could both Nick and Xavier be innocents? If they are, Tina will need Sarah to be a criminal to make an odd number of criminals neighboring her. And we would have how many criminals on the edges? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So either Ruth or Vicky will need to be the 8th. If we know that both Nick and Xavier couldn't be criminals because that would leave column C with only 1 innocent, which can't be. So if they were opposites, that would be Tina's last criminal neighbor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because if Zara were to be a criminal, then Tina would end up with 6, which is an even number. So Zara would need to be an innocent. And now, what does that mean for us? What does that mean for the criminals on the edges? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We couldn't have both people here be criminals to make 7, 8, Ruth and Vicky, because that would leave column A with only 1 innocent, which we know that column B is the only column with only 1 innocent. So no, Ruth and Vicky can't both be criminals. I just figured that out because I should have seen that before. So these 2 are, first of all, one a criminal, the other one an innocent for sure. And can they both be innocents? I just thought about that. Can they both be innocents? If they are, we would need both Xavier and Zara to be criminals to total 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now Tina has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that would force Nick to be a criminal. So Tina can have 7 criminals neighboring her. And that will leave column C with only 1 innocent. So no, these 2 can't both be innocents. Okay, it's nice to prove a hunch. Going back, if these 2 are opposites, that makes these 2 opposites, right? Because they can't both be criminals. And did I prove that they can't be opposites? Oh, I guess they can't they be opposites? If this is the case, how many criminals do we have? 1, 2, 3. Oh, let's look at it through another lens. Let's think about it this way. How many criminals do we have already? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're gonna have a 7th here, who's either Ruth or Vicky. So that makes Xavier and Zara opposites, right? Since we need an 8th. Let me count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So these two are opposites. And how many does that leave Tina with? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Criminal neighbors. So Tina, see, this is what I'm talking about. Sometimes it isn't that the puzzle is hard. Sometimes I'm just making it hard on myself. So now Tina has 5 criminal neighbors, which means that she couldn't have a 6th to make an even number. She has an odd number of criminals neighboring her, so Nick has to be an innocent. Nick now gives us a new clue. There's an equal number of innocents in rows 1 and 5, so we know that row 5 has 2 innocents, and one of them is already here neighboring Tina, so the person that doesn't neighbor Tina has to be an innocent to make 2. And now Vicky being an innocent makes Ruth a criminal. And Ruth gives us a new clue, exactly 1 innocent in column D is neighboring Xavier. So column D, that's Zara. That's the only person left in column D that neighbors Xavier, could be an innocent. Now that makes Xavier a criminal. What was the surprise? What was the surprise? I'm confused. Should I pay more attention to the flavor text? We stole a moment of your time. Hmm. Hmm. I was expecting like a new mechanic or something, but maybe it's gonna show up later. I don't know. But yeah, that was a good one. I enjoy it. And remember what I said, like, even if you're having a hard time with a puzzle, let's say that it is not a hard one, it is a tricky one or an easy one or something like that, it doesn't mean that you're bad at it if you're having a hard time. It might mean that there's too much stuff on your mind, or that you had a hard day, or that the world is not exactly aligning with the time you have to do the puzzle. Things happen. The important thing is that you have fun and that you don't put too much pressure on yourself. I know how that feels. So I hope you enjoy it and remember to have fun and do stuff, because it's nice learning and challenging yourself and not just, I don't know, pushing through. Sometimes it's not about how quick you do it or if you do it perfectly. Sometimes it's just about doing it. Am I talking to myself now? I don't know. But I'll leave it here for today, and I'll see you tomorrow for more Clues by Sam. So, bye bye.